In Jamaica, we call this plant the kashamaka plant. And it grows these beans and it blossoms a lot of blossom. And from it, we get a lot of honey. Now this honey crystallizes very fast. Very, very fast. And it is the fastest crystallizing honey that produced in Jamaica from this plant called the kashamaka. That's what we call it here in Jamaica. Sunflower honey crystallizes 14 days after harvesting. 14 days after harvesting. We have never done a study to find out how fast this crystallizes, but Jamaica honey, this tree, the kashamaka nectar, crystallizes extremely fast. Now why do that? Let me explain to you. Honey is made of nectar that we get from the tree. Is glucose, sucrose, and phosphorus. The sucrose and the phosphorus cannot crystallize. It is the glucose that crystallizes. You get me? The same thing where you say we throw sugar in the honey. It is glucose, and this is why in the European market, people are the greatest thing to them. Crystallize this honey because the glucose, and I spin around the box from that I don't get myself in trouble, but the glucose that you buy in the supermarket is man-made. It's man-made. The glucose that's in the honey will crystallize that the Jamaican market do not want to eat. Is God made that glucose. It is made by God, harvested by the bees. You get me? So there's a very big market for crystallizing honey in the UK and in Europe and those places because they know the value of it. It is extremely expensive product. It is made by God. Glucose is made by God. What is ironic about the argument is that sugar cannot crystallize. Sugar is a man-made product. Sugar, them take the sugar cane and then process it and then put fire to it and take out the water out of it and force the molecules to crystallize. That's how you get sugar. The sugar that you like to eat, it is made by man. You get me? And the honey where you say crystallize, and you say that according to the Jamaican culture, is sugar. Them throw in it, and that's sugar where them see inside of the bottle. It is glucose. Glucose. So in the European market, them buy it heavily because it is glucose made by God. This is glucose made by man, just like how they make sugar. You get me? So when they go to the store, then nobody asks the glucose. Them just buy the crystallized honey. You know, man. In Jamaica culture, we throw it to the garbage, and we don't want it to eat. The sugar that you consume, it is put in a big pot or put in a what they call a furnace. And you know, them set up like a shower head, like when you're going to the shower. Them spray the water in, they force the evaporation of the water. It sticks together, it forms crystal, and it crystallizes. And that is the sugar you eat. You know, and as I say, ironically, the bees don't really like it. They don't eat it. I mean, once nectar is in the tree, them sweep it out of the box, throw it away, and that causes red ants to come to the box. And it causes problem for bee farmers, so we have to be very careful of it, you know, very careful and very wary of it, you know. But what you see in the bottle is glucose, and this tree, glucose, but you say sugar and you don't want it to eat. We as bee farmers are saying that we need to sort out the European market because it is very valuable, and supply them with that honey because Jamaica doesn't like that honey. You know, but it is glucose, sucrose and fructose that makes the nectar that comes in the tree, that create that crystallization. Logwood, I believe, crystallizes very slow, very, you know, It don't crystallize very fast. And that also tells you that there's the glucose content in that nectar is far less than the one in this tree. This tree has a whole lot more glucose in it. And that's why the honey crystallizes so fast. Thank you. Honey crystallization not only take place because of the plants will have more glucose in their nectar than others, but also honey crystallization happen because of where you store them. You know, person come to me and say, I don't like to buy honey in the supermarket because them throw sugar in it. You know, and why is that? Why them target the supermarket? You know, show me a supermarket that is not a fridge. All supermarkets are fridge, and one of the reasons for that, and if they are not, that owner of the supermarket spends a lot of money on losses. Why that is so? Wheat, flour, rice, noodles, flour-based product, all of them breeds weevil when the time is hot. You get me? And mold grows, you know, and bacteria grows when the time is hot. And a supermarket is a very rich place for that. It grows very easily. So in order to manage that situation, you know, slow the growth of weevil. So when you go buy a flour, you're not seeing a weevil in it. When you buy a cornmeal, you're not seeing a weevil in it. And all of that stuff. They put it in the fridge. They create a fridge environment. And that causes honey to crystallize, you know. When we get customer come from the States, most of the States and Europe, we say, listen, we want crystallized honey. We just take the honey, you know, especially if it's the kashamaka. We just stuck it in the fridge, you know, give it like a couple of hours or maybe a day or two. And we'll go back feed fully crystallized, you know. So some of the time where you store the honey also increase the chances for it to crystallize, especially if it's a kashamaka honey. It's going to crystallize. There's no if nor but about it, you know what I mean? Something like that. Yeah, but I'm in the April and we're sitting beside this bug guy. This is about a tree super up and it have and laden with bees. So, you know, I'm gonna show you. See them coming in. And we overcast or rain coming, so you know the bees out there working, you know, carrying in pollen and nectar. I think they're carrying in more nectar now than pollen, you know what I mean? So there we go. Honey crystallizes naturally. It does it. This is how God designed it to work. You know, GDF Clarke Bee Farm, changing the way you see the bee.